Okay. So all those don't have the fruit on them anymore.
You're still going to have some of the fruit on them. That'll come off.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the back. You film my work.
How do I...
It's filming. Okay. So then now you've got a big pile of beans.
Right, and those beans are from 84 pounds of coffee cherry weight. When you've got 100 pounds of coffee cherry weight of cherry that's picked in it like that, you wind up with 12 to 15 pounds of roasted coffee in the end from 100 pounds of coffee cherry that you picked. By the time you've done the roasting and the separating of everything like that.
Okay.
And then what I'll do later is I'll cover those up with water and then ferment it overnight.
Okay.
And then tomorrow morning, I'll bring it out here. We move a wheelbarrow right over here.
I use stuff.
Just leave it going.
Like we got a wheelbarrow with a screen in the bottom.
Okay.
And
Oh, so then you can drain this tub onto the belt and then it dumps it all here.
it dumps into there, or if it's clean enough, like everybody's coffee is going to be slightly different. Because some people use different fertilizers, some people pick it and leave it the same day, some people, you know, every farm is going to be different. Some people have more rocks, some people have more soil.
Yeah.
Like we look like we got a really rich farm, but we've got 26 inches of soil above the lava rock. Whereas on the Hilo side, you'll have 6 to 10 feet of soil over the lava rock there. And the other part,
But why don't they just too wet to grow properly?
okay, what our trees are here on the Big Island is coffee. It's actually got an interesting history. Our coffee trees are originally from Guatemala, but they're originally from Abyssinia, North Yemen. And the Spaniards picked and transported the trees from North Yemen, Saudi Arabia. They replanted the trees in Guatemala for 200 years, from the 1500s up until 1813. 1813, Don Francisco de Marin, who was the horticulture advisor to King Kamehameha I, brought the coffee trees from Guatemala to Hawaii, which is just a downwind trip. And then they planted them over here. They were first planted on the Oahu in 1813, and then 1824, 1825, they came over to the Big Island here. And then when they arrived up in Puakea in the north of the Big Island, and then they went down to Kona side or they went to the Hilo side. But one of the major things that makes this such a great growing region is that we're basically in a wind-still region for growing. Like if you look out there, there's virtually no wind. And also we're really lucky because if you look up there, we're down in like in a ravine. So when the winds come, they go over us. Whereas we would have lost our grind shed cover a number of times.
Okay.
When we get the strong winds, but they just blow over.
Okay.
And then after we do the fermenting of it like that, we rinse the coffee beans there like there. Even the separation of the red skin is done with double filtered chlorine-free water.
Okay.
And then it's washed by hand here in double filtered chlorine-free water. And then we take it out here, and each one of these people's coffees out here is a different person's.
Okay.
And as I'm not organically certified anymore, you know, I keep things pretty well bordered, but some of these are the same guy's coffee that from one day or from another day. But we'll go on down here.
How many days do you buy?
It all depends on the time of the year, because the problem is that during the coffee harvest season is also the wet season. up until Thanksgiving. And once we get Thanksgiving, then we've got the dry season through the end of February. So, like this coffee right there, I could bag up. This is my own coffee right here, but excuse me,
You're
get a
fine.
picture and show you. Like, we look like we're a small facility, we are small in a way. But when we're processing coffee here in the crunch of the season, we can be doing somewhere between 10 to 18,000 pounds a night.
Oh my gosh.
Like this is Jose right here, and like this is, we fill that chute up 3 to 5 times every night during the crunch of the season.
Oh, okay.
And we process the coffee, and then what we've got is we got 3 mechanical drying drums, like right here. You can walk in, you see there are 2 more skins on it.
Oh, really?
And like right down in here is a coffee drying drum that can dry the coffee being returned from 3,500 pounds of coffee. So with 3 of these drums, we can keep 10,000 pounds of coffee drying every 24 hours.
So then it goes through the chute, it gets skinned, it gets washed, it goes on the floor here, it dries, or reasonably dries, then it goes into here.
It depends on the farmer. Like this guy right here, let's see, whose coffee is this? This is Dave Kenny's. He brings in only about 5 bags a season. So his will just be here. If I put it in there, I've got to have the cherry weight of 3,000 pounds of coffee, cherry weight, in his batch of coffee to put it in the drum.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to mix his coffee with his coffee with his coffee.
Correct.
So these guys right here, the problem is like when you bring in small batches like this, that over there is the coffee being returned from 300 pounds of coffee cherry. Not this one.
That little
but
pile.
The next one, that little one. And I need at least 3,000 pounds of coffee
To make it worth putting in the drum.
Well, I won't put it in the drum because I'm not even covering the heating elements. And I used to use number 2 diesel for the drying drums. But what makes a big difference is that if I got too little coffee, I'm throwing all of the heat out. Where if I got at least 2,500 pounds of coffee, I'm covering the heating element in there and I'm efficiently using it. But to me, the big thing is that when coffee comes in, I do as much sun drying the coffee as I can. Because then
You're not using diesel.
I'm not using, well, I stopped using diesel because there was nothing but problems with the filters. And
Mm-hmm.
the filters always quit at 9 o'clock at night when I want my beer. So I use gas now.
But so then, after that, it's not ready to go.
No, what I've done is like what you got to do is you got to dry the coffee to the proper moisture content, which is between 9 to 12% moisture. At that time, like this coffee right here, you can take that and rub it between your fingers. Here you go.
And have it make that. Oh, and that extra skin comes off.
And that skin comes off, and then if you look at it, there's still another skin on the inside. And that's why it's no problem walking on it with your shoes.
Because it still isn't even anywhere close.
No, it's still got 2 more skins to get rid of. And that's why generally when I'm roasting coffee, when I'm done, I look like I got dandruff. I probably still do, but
Yeah, you got stuff on you.
that's why I get in the Mercedes
so
when
then
we
this
take a ride. Blows off.
I noticed you like the old Benz convertibles, huh?
Well, those 2 on the inside I'm getting rid of, but the other one on the other side is my cruiser. Fun car.
So then, can I eat it?
Okay, go ahead, but you got to have a great imagination still.
Well, it's really, really, really hard.
Right, but don't break a tooth.
Yeah.
No, put it in and chew it and tell me what the coffee flavor is.
No, it doesn't taste anything like coffee.
Henry, how you doing there? You got a lot of coffee in here? You work in the shade, you're not so hot.
Is this your farm or your buddy's?
Which one? The one next there, where that roof is there. That's what they call a hoshidana. And a hoshidana, like what this used to be, is like that, where you have a track. Like you used to have a track out here, when the sun was out, they'd slide the roof over so that the sun could dry the coffee beans. And then when it starts raining, you got to quickly run and shut them. But what we do here is, with this one right here, we can have, all we need is a day, and we have to just turn the beans over, and they'll dry during the nighttime. But that's a traditional old Hoshidana system that they used to have here.
Was this a coffee you placed before you got here?
This has been a coffee place since the 1830s, 1840s. The name actually is like, I'm a dealer in antique charts, prints, lithographs, and copper engravings. So my original business is, primarily I'm an oceanographer. And I used to be an aquanaut living in underwater houses. Pilot a small research sub. And then I spent 18 years filming and sailing and traveling around the world on my sailboat.
Oh, wow.
Then I spent a couple years in southern Africa, darting up in Botswana and Namibia, working with a German group out of Mound darting animals for hoof and mouth disease. And then I've been in and out of a few too many wars. I got Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos, and I was in Lebanon during part of that. I've been like 26 wars I've been right in the edge of or in.
So you just come to Hawaii, huh?
That's why I'm in Hawaii. So pretty much what we do is we dry everything out here on the deck here. Like this was just put out, like this one should have actually raked it. But the main thing is to get it so that, it dries out here. And like this is Dustin's and that's Dustin's. And when he wants his coffee, like this one's ready to be bagged up. This one is.
But so that you bag them, they're not, and then they still have to be roasted.
What I do is I take anybody's coffee wherever they want to take them.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you where you want me to take your coffee to. I take it, like this guy right here's got the Coffee Shack. It's a restaurant you passed when you came up here.
Okay.
It's sort of the one with a beautiful overlooking view of the down here about 5 miles. Anyway, this is his coffee right here.
And then they roast.
And they do whatever they want with it. He wants his coffee back in the parchment form, which is what this is.
Because it still has that layer on it.
But see, what a lot of people do is they make a mistake. Is they get all their coffee down, and they take it in, and they get the parchment skin taken off. But what that is each one of those layers on there keeps the dirt from getting into the coffee, and keeps any other bad things from getting in. And it's also holding the oils in the bean. And this is a true thing that happened a couple of years ago. This friend of mine has got a farm down here, and they had one of the drying decks up there that had coffee on it from 1970. It was in the parchment form like this with both the skins on it. And he was just going to throw it away, and I said, no, I've never seen this. Let me try it. So he gave me all I want, which was just a couple bags just to sample it. And see, we do all our own processing, so we can do whatever we want. And I processed it, and it came out with it was a good coffee, but it was a little flat. But it was good. And then another friend of mine,
30 years, 40 years,
40 years. And then another friend of mine brought me in coffee that was like 3 years old, and he had the parchment skin and the silver skin taken off, and it was dreadful. Because it really shows you what the difference of the skins makes in your coffee.
Do you replace your coffee plants every so often?
Well, they're replacing themselves. I got 15,000 plants.
So they seed themselves and just sort of...
They seed themselves. In fact, if you want to take a couple of beans home with you, you probably do. Grow your own coffee.
In Oregon?
Well, you can't put it outside because it can't tolerate a frost or a freeze, but you can grow it inside and have your own coffee plant.
It's not bad to take
You just don't have to, you forget to have it in your pocket.
Okay, well I didn't
No, what do you get?
know if it was, sort of a bad thing
Well,
to do for
theoretically
the environment.
theoretically it's not legal, but
Right.
the main thing that's different, that's good, is that it's a raw coffee bean. If it was a coffee cherry with the juice and fruit on it, like out there, that you wouldn't be able to bring back. But if you just put 4 or 5 beans in your pocket and just try growing your own coffee.
And that would sprout from those?
Yeah. Cause see, it hasn't been roasted yet.